Hey everybody, week 2 of It's the Offseason, and we have no new episodes for you. My name is John. I'm one half of United 96. I wanted to bring you another episode from the archives. This time we've got a conversation with Kevin Paredes almost right before he leaves for Germany. So enjoy that. Enjoy the days when he was prowling the left side of the midfield for DC United. The good days. Kevin, I hope you find some time on the field, and I hope you heal from your injury really quickly. Vamos. Welcome in, everybody. RFK Refugees. This is one of like 5,000 episodes we're doing this week, so thank you for joining. If you're hearing this today on July 13th, that means you're a Patreon. So thank you for your support. That means that episode came out as soon as we did it. If you're hearing this at a later date, you could have heard it earlier. Patreon.com/RFK Refugees. You get these episodes as soon as they drop. And this is a busy week, and you want to be involved early. So who do we have first on deck? We have Kevin Paredes of DC United, Homegrown. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I just said before the show started, you've been on Tried and True like I think 13 times. I think you've been on DC UK. So thank you for making your first appearance. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So let's get started. I think that you're. This is an important question. This has been percolating for about a week. Big couple weeks for you. First MLS goal, first call up to the senior team, and first time having your dance moves made fun of by a national podcast. I don't know if you saw it already. The Cooligans said after you scored, your moves were like washed. They're already old. They're already dated. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to defend your dance skills and tell Alexis and Christian what's going on.
Nah, I heard what they said. It was funny. It was funny, but to be fair, I got it from Mosey Keane from PSG, and I still think it's tough. So I had to bring it out.
I don't think anyone can tell you what to do after you're scoring your first goal. I think you just get a pass no matter what. And even if that's the case, if you're getting it from, that's an overseas import. That's still fresh. I don't understand what they're talking about.
Exactly.
They're just wrong. So sorry guys, you missed. So let's talk about that goal. I was in the stands. I can tell you that the person that I was with were hoping that this was the game you're going to score. You'd come close a lot. I know you're getting frustrated at yourself because you'd be in the right place. A ball would just sort of squirt out to you at the top of the 18, and maybe you'd snatch at it or it would get saved. And I could just tell every time it happened, you would just be like, you would just pull your hair. Had to feel great to break that duck and score a really great goal in front of home fans. Talk about it.
Yeah, like you said, the previous chances I had were chances that I've always came close or scoring to in the past, in like academy days or just in my career. So those chances that I bluffed or mishit were kind of shocking to myself, and that's why you see the reactions after I had my chance. But this one I knew. Once I had that opportunity again, because I remember I had the exact same opportunity against Miami where I put that way over the bar, similar spot, similar play. And I knew if I ever had that chance again, I'm going to tuck this one away no matter what. And didn't know it was going to happen that fast into the game. But my eyes lit up when I saw that ball come across. And I was like, this is my chance. And I tried to, tap it, maybe bottom corner. But
no, you did
not. I was just way too excited when that, ball came across and I skied it in, and I was so excited. I was so happy. Everyone with my team supported me in that, in that moment. Coaches, got me into the right spots to, get some goals going, opportunities. So for me, that was probably the proudest moment, and very happy. I got my first goal out the way, and hopefully many more.
Yeah, you celebrated like it was obvious that dance aside. We'll put the dance aside. I think I said on that podcast that week, it's like you had 3 different celebrations in one. You had like different stations on the field where you're going to celebrate. I love it. And 2, like if you think about it, they're going to show your first goal over and over again. That's just what happens. That's part of your career. Like they're like, oh, let's play the first goal. And that's like like you said, you didn't just roll that into the bottom corner. This wasn't a goal from 6 yards out, just like a deflection. You'd be proud of that one. That one's nice. So that's not, it could have been worse. Something we talk about. So you mentioned the academy before real briefly. Something we ask all the DC United players who move through the academy about their time there. is how each step prepared them for the one after it, and sort of what the biggest adjustment was they had to make at each level to be competitive. Jeremy said last week, the big thing is the realization, like, I come from my club or wherever, and I'm the best player there. I start every week. Everybody passes me the ball. I'm going to score. I'm going to do whatever. And then you move a level up, and it's like, all right, I've got to prove myself all over again. All these guys are the best players at their club. So talk about as you move through each of those things, and where it culminated with now with the national team, but just DC United too. Talk about each step you took and what it felt like to have to sort of reprove yourself and judge yourself against new levels of peers.
Yeah, I think Jeremy got it kind of spot on. My previous club, I felt like I needed a challenge. I needed something more. So that's when I joined the academy, and playing with all these players in the DMV was eye opening for myself, because I'm usually that guy to get the ball, do something creative, score, and all this. Now I have 15 other players that can do the exact same, or a couple of these players that can actually know what I'm going to do or defend whatever I produce to them. But it was, for me, it was I want to say a rough experience, but it was something that I learned a lot from all these. It's funny that you can say you learn from other young players, my age especially. This is when I was 13, 14. So I was learning from all these other young players on the squad, and like he said, you got to prove yourself no matter what to the coaches. If you want to be amongst the 18 that can play out of 30 players in the academy team, you have to you can't take one day off, you can't take one play off, you can't take 1 second off. Always the mentality starts as soon as I leave from school for training. When I left school, I knew it was on fight mode now. It was like, when I come to training, I gotta be well prepared, I gotta be on my best, because I want to be on the starting 11 that weekend. Which kind of feels like like to the pro life today. I come to training and I want to be the best. So I kind of it's good that the academy system implemented that in my brain early, so that I can be prepared for the times now.
Yeah, I think that's the big difference between guys who don't make it and guys who do, right? I feel like there's talent all over the place. There's talent of guys who will never make, you'll never hear of them, obviously. They'll just be great. But it's about, and Moses talked about it, Griffin's talked about it, is like the difference from the academy, and you're talking about the mentality there too, but like there's no practices or no trainings where you can't go 100%. There's no, you can never give less than everything you have all the time, because the guys around you are paid and they want to stay there. They want to get paid more. They want to move on to the next spot. So it's not just like, I'm good, I made it, it's fine. This is just a middle weekday practice. But I think that's what separates the people who really excel and go to those next levels and then go on from there. Even it's that realization that this is a profession, and every day it's 100%. You've not made it yet. No one's ever made it yet, because there's always somewhere else to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of that, you had your first national team experience. Was that a surprise? I know that there was. I remember earlier this year, all of you, Moses, and Donovan came out sort of as a group that were being watched. So from the national team, the coach, Greg, was checking you guys out. So I'm not sure if it was a surprise, but what was that experience like? Is it? It feels like it's not been that long since you just signed with the club. Sort of a world. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that the COVID year sort of makes it condense even more. But like, mm-hmm. talk about the experience. Talk about how you heard about it and what it was like to be there and do it.
Yeah, I've had conversations with Greg, a while back when I started first playing much more with the first team. He really wanted me to go to December camp last year. Unfortunately, I was hurt, so I missed. He wanted me to go to like at least 3 of them afterwards, like January camp, the friendlies, the U23s. But I was hurt still, so and I had to, coming off a strong start, I kind of felt like this moment was going to happen, sooner or later. Then I got the email asking me and Moses to, join the camp, and I was very excited. I was like, this is the moment I've been waiting for, all my life to represent, and the country I was born in. And this camp, people would usually, be nervous for the first camp, or for a next step or at least. But I felt like I was very comfortable, and this is the place where I belong. And when I was there, of course I made mistakes. Of course I was learning, but it felt like I belonged, in that system with Greg, all the other players, and it's just a matter of me keeping my head down, keeping focused, keep working hard, and I feel like sooner or later my opportunity will come.
Can't imagine a more confidence juicer thing than coming off your first goal and a 7-1
Yeah.
beatdown in Toronto. You're like, and now it's national team camp. So yeah, this is me. This is where I'm supposed to be. I want to go back to the Toronto game real quick. So this is something that I picked up on. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, and I'm imagining that this won't be something you could say. But Griffin's goal, the goal in the 90th minute, so it was nice. Like obviously the game was iced at that point. Griffin was hair on fire because he's trying to make a point. He wants more playing time. He wants to be on the field. So he scores from no angle. It felt like the team was like, this we may have kicked them a little bit here. This is like, it feels kind of bad. Like all the rest of the goals, everyone else ran basically full field for the celebration. This one, like the guys who were around him celebrated, but the guys in the midfield were like, we're just gonna stay over here by the center circle. Did I misread that? Was everybody just as excited? Is the seventh goal cool? I imagine if the sixth goal is cool, probably the seventh one is. But I'm curious if I picked up something there.
I think it was just we scored so many. I think we were all tired of celebrating.
You're like, no more running. We've done this.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think we were all tired at that point. I know everyone was excited for Griffin. Maybe they didn't, go up to Griffin and say congratulations or something or celebrate with him. But it was a long game. It was a long 90 minutes game for some of the players. So some stayed back, just to catch their breath for the last couple minutes of the game. But
yeah, we're like, I'm gonna get some water. We've done this. Talk also too, like obviously that game had some repercussions for Toronto. They fired their coach. Josie Altidore is now back in the picture, so a whole bunch of stuff happened after you guys beat the snot out of them. Have you been on that sort of a lopsided result before? Either I'm sure and maybe in the academy level you have, but what was that like? What was that? You guys were just. I think I said after they scored. I think they made it. They scored to make it 3-1, but it just seemed like you had removed the soul from their bodies. I think that goal was like an accident. Like we weren't even really trying to score. It just sort of happened. Like we'll take it or whatever, but. What's it like to know like so early in the game like it's just yours? Like there's not putting up a lot of resistance. There weren't a lot of hard fouls. A couple players were maybe getting a little chippy, but like you have an opportunity for fun. Like you just have an opportunity to go out there and put it to them. What did that feel like for you?
It felt nice because I haven't felt that feeling in a while. So having everything click, having everyone be on the same page, a fighting mentality as we were saying, it felt so great. I think I started it off with the goal in the first minute 30 or minute 15 in the game, and then after that I think everyone was wanting more after that first goal. We came from NYCFC with 1-0 up, and then we were all devastated that the result happened how it ended. So I think this game was payback kind of for a missing 3 points, and it showed from the minute the ref blew the whistle. We were all engaged, we were all fighting, we were all in tune with each other, and then it just showed at the end of the match.
The confidence was awesome, and I don't know if you've had an opportunity to watch any of the Spirit games. I was there this weekend covering the Spirit game. Same mentality, like they came out. North Carolina Courage is like the team, or has traditionally been the team. And from the start, they were just like, we're better than this team. Everyone's confident. Everyone's dribbling. And it was the same as this Toronto game. It was just funny watching back-to-back games. Just two teams, United has been where they've been in the standings. The Spirit have been sort of in the middle. And they come out and play, former champion not that long ago in Toronto. And just like, this is our house. Like, we're going to dribble past everybody and it doesn't matter. It was fun weekend for DC fans for like the last 14 days. As you were coming up, did you play a lot of wingback, or is this new for you?
This is new for me. I mostly, all my career played right wing, or before I'd play 10, but playing this more defensive role. Before these, I turned pro, I wasn't much of a defender. I would maybe sometimes take plays off on defending. Didn't go into tackles, didn't go into challenges, headers, all of this, and I learned that maybe this right wing or 10 or is not my actual position. I don't know. I still don't know what my actual position is. Just trying this out, this wing back role, and to say the least, I love it. I love being a two-way decided player, one that can having the freedom with coach's tactics system that I can go forward, but also having the responsibility to drop back. And you know, I love the 1v1 duels going against me. Uh, just being that position it's an interesting one because coach wants me all the way in the box, and then out of nowhere I'm all the way in our box, making that long run back, making a tackle, making defensive play. So I'm starting to like it a lot more. I'm getting used to still need touches and tunes into my defensive role, but that's going to keep coming the more I play in that role and the more I get assistance from our back line or the coaches.
It's probably easier to learn the like the small elements of defense than it is to learn how to be creative offensively. Like I think that I think it's a better attribute to go backwards and learn the wing back position than being a left back that like we'd love you to get forward and take guys on and cross the ball and maybe become an offensive threat. So I feel like you're and also too I was thinking about the national team and they're always looking for help in that position. So your first camp, this is a new position for you, but as you continue to learn it, like that bodes well for repeated call-ups and opportunities because that's always, they're calling Donovan Beasley or DeMarcus Beasley up at like 47 years old, so like clearly, there's some need in those certain spots. Let's talk about DC United season so far. The narrative started out, I think, being about injuries, and Hernan was real tired about talking about injuries. I know, I saw it. And getting close, creating chances, but not necessarily converting them and getting the points. Obviously, I think that the two games that you won, this is early on in the season, I don't remember what point this is, like the two games you won, you had less expected goals than your opponent, and the games that you had failed to win, you were actually exceeding your opponent's expectations. So it called into question XG as a stat, I think, at that point too. But recent injury news aside, with some of your teammates, it seems like it's been reversed completely. You're getting national credit for offensive potency of the team, and getting those chances finished. The 7-1 is obviously fresh on everybody's mind. I think that helps sort of like the national, like, oh, actually, I think DC United offense is really good all of a sudden because they see that game. But obviously aside from, I know I just read an interview you did with Brian Shreda about sort of feeling really good this season and feeling confident and really taking those chances. But overall with the team's performance, what have you seen from a growth perspective? Obviously, New York City FC is a valley, Toronto FC is a peak, but overall, right in the middle, where do you see this team at right now? What are you seeing from them?
Yeah, like the beginning, like Coach was saying, we had all those injuries, or maybe we're all not in tune yet to the way he wanted us to play. But through hard work and blood, sweat, and tears in the training field with Coach, I think we grown tremendously. Even in the games that maybe we lost, the growth from the first game to that game was just something huge for us, and things are starting to click now. Even with that NYCFC game that we lost, things were clicking. Not the last 15 minutes, but things in the game were clicking. The Toronto game was definitely clicked. So things that we trained are starting to work out in game, and that's really good for us because we don't want to train for nothing. Coach preaches on us that if we play like we train, we're gonna win a lot of games, and we're starting to see the results. We're starting to see our hard work is actually paying off, and I think that all the players are in tune with it, and if we keep sticking to each other, keeping positive vibes, positive mindset, I think we're gonna go far in this year.
What's it like? And I think that this is the case for both of the coaches you've been under, as far as a coach that believes in youth and wants to give the youth an opportunity. You saw playing time last season. You're seeing it now. Obviously, whenever you're healthy, it looks like you're pretty much in the 11. What's it like for you and the other players to realize, like, if you're here and you're trying hard in training and you're performing in training, that you're not going to get buried on the bench necessarily. You're going to get opportunities. Griffin got a good run in these friendlies. He had a really good game in Toronto. Maybe you're going to see him more, particularly with Paul, maybe being out, but maybe even being injured longer. But what's the mentality of a young player when you see coaches that are like, yeah, I'm just going to put the best players in the field. It doesn't really matter what your salary was or how long you've been here, but that's how he feels. What's that like?
Yeah, for me, I don't look into that too much. I show up. I do what's asked. I work my ass off for the opportunities I get, and I make sure that whatever opportunity I get, I don't fumble it. Um, it's hard for a kid my age to be in the position that I'm in, and I'm gonna make sure that I I'm representing all the kids out there that want to be in my position that can't, unfortunately, but um, everyone in the team is working hard to achieve one goal, and that's to win playoffs, and I'm part of that team. Um, every person, every staff member, we're all in this together. So um, I think my successes right now is all because of them, I would say.
You mentioned in that same interview about how you had to adjust to your new expectations for fitness. You and everybody else. I think everybody I've talked to, at least at the beginning of the season, that was like, so what was that beep test like? Like what was that? I think Pablo did an article in The Athletic that was talking about a meeting that got held afterwards that would like had everybody's like BMI up on the wall. I don't know if that actually happened or not, but that sounds. I remember saying like, I'm glad they don't do that to podcasters. Like we would not stand up to scrutiny really well. How's that improved? How has your fitness improved? Like, if you had to look at your fitness, your numbers now, if they're still keeping metrics on a weekly basis, where are you at now versus a year ago? Is it dramatic, or are you still, you're young, so you're probably all right anyway. But
Yeah, I would say, last year was more. I was more of like a two defensive role, I would say. So I would say the numbers from a game now to running up and back numerous times to maybe a game last year is like, I think it's a big change, especially coming out of a 7-month injury. I That fitness test when I came back was a killer. Not running, not doing anything for 7 months was took a really toll on me, and still does at this moment. But um Hernan and Nico Frutos made sure that when I stepped on the pitch, I was ready to go. So those long days of fitness trainings, in the gym sessions, they made sure I was right. And it sucked. I can tell you that it definitely sucked. It was really hard, but I think it all worked out and all, and it's paying off.
so that's big from them, right? As far fans always look at guys who have been injured, and it seems like they should be back by now, or whatever it is. Obviously, you don't have an insight into it, but it just seems like the projection was 4 weeks. It's been 6 weeks, whatever. So they're all about making sure that they have the data and the metrics to prove that player is at 100 or 105% of where they were before they get back on the field. Is that a good assessment?
Yeah, when he told me, because I would say like that before. Maybe I was ready, 2 weeks or 3 weeks before, but I told him like, yeah, I'm ready to come here and and practice with the team and all that. And he told me no. He said there's a difference between practice ready and game ready, and I want you to be game ready. And that was kind of shocking to me. I was like, wow, like this guy's for real. So I took that extra 2 or 3 weeks, and he made sure that 1v1 individually, me and him, that made sure that my fitness, my creativity, I still had everything back. And so I would say the reason why some players come back later is because he makes sure that once you step back with the full team, you're going to play that weekend, or you're going to be ready for that weekend.
And you better you better not pull up that first week. You better not pull up that first game after you come back either. You're like, I'm fine, no, I'm good, and then cramp, hamstring.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you think? So we talked about all the players that you play with, and some of them had the opportunities, some of them haven't. You're young, and you've had success early here. What do you think sets you apart from other people, other players your age, and also just guys you played against? What do you bring to the table that makes you stand out? Hard question to answer, maybe, but
yeah. I would always say like there's players that might be faster than me, might be more creative than me, might be hungrier than me, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna work my ass off more than any of the other players that I'm going against, and I think that's what separates me from other players. I have this thing where, since I was young, I would sacrifice everything to achieve my goal, which was to play play for professional team. I didn't know it was gonna come this quick, this soon, but I knew that if I took sacrifices at a young age, that maybe not going out with friends or doing certain things that, regular teenagers do, regular kids would do. Maybe I thought that if, I set myself apart than most of my friends, maybe I'll one become, a professional athlete myself. Like I said, I didn't know it was coming this soon, but I knew that, my hard work, my family's hard work, that this was going to happen. I think that's what sets me apart from most kids and most players.
It worked out for you, and I think also
Yeah.
that I think that when you were giving that answer, I was thinking of your last coach. I'm thinking how much Ben Olsen would love that answer. I would say he'd be like, "Yep, that is exactly the right answer. I love it." Um, who's been your biggest mentor as you transition to the first team? Obviously, now you're in the first team usually. Yeah, you're starting usually. But as you got from fresh faced, just signed, hoping for a few minutes, and then sort of transition to here, who's been the most helpful to you as a teammate?
I would say most of the guys, but I'm gonna say for those moments last year, I would say Bill Hamid, Chris Adoy, O'Neal Fisher, Earl Edwards, all these guys, they really welcomed me, really like took me under the wing, helped me on things that maybe I need help on. It didn't have to be like soccer related stuff. It could be mentally, which was a big thing for me, and my mental, thinking more as a professional. I think more of a older guy than what kids think and stuff like that. Just being in the professional atmosphere, they helped me with that a lot. And then I would say this year, since he's back, Paul, I didn't have too much time with him last year because of his injury, but this year I think he really took me under his wing, and um, he has this confidence in me that not many players do, and so for that I appreciate it. I'm appreciative of him, and yeah, he's a great guy. He helps me with the soccer piece, and other than that, like we hang out outside of
Good.
the pitch and all that. That's just the type of guy he is. So
He is the same leave it all on the field thing that you're talking
yeah,
about that you have. So that's noticeable. And two, like you make a good point about the mental side of it and the help you need as a young player. Because like I think what people don't think about. So I work at my job. I don't work with any 17-year-olds. Like there aren't 17 and 18-year-olds in my office. So that's just what it is. So and like the lifestyle of a professional soccer player is so foreign to everything else that you've done so far. So it is really important to have those guys that will like be like, this is what's expected. Like this is like here's professionalism. You're having to learn it real fast, and you got to do it in front of all these people, and then also all the people that watch the game and go to the game. So I think that's really important to understand from a fan perspective, but also it's good as a player to sort of realize that helps needed too, so that you feel like you can perform on the field. That's the thing that got you there, but you have to know like all the other stuff and off the field stuff and taking care of your body and all that stuff. So it's good that you had those players to lean on. I got two more questions for you. I asked this to Moses 2 weeks ago and Jeremy, and I like both of their answers. But what player? This is obvious. It's like a stereotypical question, but what player do you model your game after? Who do you see yourself as, sort of at the next level? Who do you aspire to be?
So yeah, I actually thought about that question yesterday as well. So growing up, I would always model my game as Messi. What kid would not?
Sure. Start at the top. Why not?
yeah, be like Messi. But starting things to unfold and positioning wise, watching more outside backs, wingers. So right now, I would say definitely Alphonso Davies. I like the way Bukayo Saka plays. I think he's a versatile player like myself, and if you throw him anywhere, he's going to give it his all. So those two players, I would say, are really I really watch my game around to see the attacking style of Alphonso Davies, his explosiveness, his creativity, he's on the ball. So I would say those players are players I look at right now.
And he scored a pretty nice goal at Audi Field before he left too. So there's that. He gives that little gift, unfortunately for us.
Yeah.
I got a question from Twitter here. This appears to be somebody from the UK. He said, after you've had a long and successful career in Europe, will you come back to DC United? Will you do the Andy Nahar move? Is one that I think fans love. Fans love for their kids to come up through the team, go do their thing off at the highest level, but then come back with some in the tank. Andy obviously has got something in the tank, and he's also not even that old. I think people overrate his age. He's to me, very young. But yeah, where do you want to be? Like, what's your aspiration and with your career as far as that goes? Everybody wants to say Europe. I will assume same answer.
Yeah, I think, like you said, every kid's dream is to play in the biggest stage, and like myself, I want to play in the biggest stage one day. But it starts now. It starts performing for this team, giving my all to the team. If that opportunity comes, whenever, I'll be ready for it. And his second question is, DC's my home, so if I get that opportunity, I pretty much can't say no.
We love it. We would love that for sure. Kevin, thanks for joining. Where can people find you on the internet? Where's your social home?
I have everything's the same, K Paredes _7. That's all my socials.
You got a Twitch yet? You could be like Chicharito and just start like streaming when you got the time, just crushing guys.
Yeah. I actually thought about starting doing some Twitch streams for FIFA and stuff like that. But
do that and come. Well, we'll play. We put it on both of our channels. You can beat the brakes off me. And just beat up an old man on Twitch. I know that was you did a tournament too, right? That happened last year.
Yeah.
Did you win it?
Yeah, of course I did.
Yeah, so it would be fun. You could be. I played a young guy in Rocket League one time, and he beat me. But I won't say it was double digits, but it was definitely high. I was like, "Yep, old. All right." Everybody, thanks for joining this episode. Like I said, this is a busy week, so enjoy this episode today. We'll have Ashley Hatch this week. We'll have a preview of the game against Philadelphia. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure that you're supporting the show on Patreon if you want. But again, thanks to Kevin Paredes, and we'll see you, I guess, tomorrow. Vamos.